So I would like just to present to you how the program unfolds for Mount Kilimanjaro, basically the itinerary. And it is as follows. So on the first day, you'll be walking 4 to 5 hours. It's 7 kilometers and you'll reach a height of 2,700 meters. That's basically from the gate all the way up to Mandara Hut. Next day, you walk 6 to 8 hours, 11 kilometers, reaching 3,700 meters to Horombo Hut. On the third day, you walk to Kibo Hut, which is 6 to 8 hours through what's called an alpine desert, and that's a really desolate, isolated, dry place and quite warm. It takes forever to cross this here. That's 10 kilometers, and you can see the height is quite serious, so everything starts going very slow. But what is very special about this here is the fact that upon this same day, you'll be arriving at around 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon to Kibo Huts. You'll be able to rest, eat some dinner, but by midnight, between the third and the fourth day, you'll start summiting the mountain. This you do, you get up 11 o'clock, and by 12 midnight, you start walking up. So it's 4 kilometers to reach the summit, and that takes a lot of time. It took me 8 hours to get to the very summit, to the Hururu Peak. And it took me 3 hours to come down, and it's estimated to take 10 to 15 hours. It took me 11 hours to get up and down. And furthermore, you need to then come back down, rest, and then proceed all the way back to Horombo. And Horombo, as you remember, is at 3,700 meters. Now the last day, it's when you go back to Moshi, for instance, and it's from 3,700 to 1,700 meters. That's an 18-kilometer trek. No matter what, even though you think you're coming down, it is quite high and you can still feel the altitude. But it's supposed to take somewhere between 5 and 7 hours to come all the way down. So what you see here in the backdrop, it's Mount Kilimanjaro, and tomorrow we are embarking on a 5-day walk up and down. And right now we are staying at the YMCA hostel, and it will be my little brother, my little sister and I that are going up there the next 2 days. It's estimated to take 2.5 days to reach the top, and then more or less 2 days to come down. So in all, like almost 5 days. Hope you enjoy the video. So I'm going to present to you all the equipment I'm taking with me. There's a light backpack, that's for your own personal usage. And then there is the heavier backpack. There will be porters who can carry this here. Then I'll be having a flask of 1 liter with me for drinking, as well as a drinking system that's in here. So that's more or less 2.5 liters I can have with me all the time. Then over here, I'll have a fleece pullover. I'll have a Dow jacket. That's expected to be used in the very last part of the summit. It inflates so there comes more air into it. A Gore-Tex jacket. It's a quite old one, but it should do the trick in case it rains a little bit. Then I have another pullover, a very light one, just for when it gets a little bit chilly but you're actually moving. A pair of cheap gloves. I actually don't plan on bringing them back afterwards. A beanie. Then what I would call ski underwear, pants and the pullover, the shirt. Then a pair of gaiters, because there's actually snow on the top of the mountain, so it would be nice not to get it in the shoes. Then a pair of pants. They are just completely random, but very quick drying. I expect that should be enough. And then there's 2 lamps, one for the headlamp and a torch. My own GPS to track the route. Then I took a live straw with me. It's actually a water filter, so just put it in and drink from it. I don't know how the water is up there. Some alcohol gel and some tablets, actually, because you will get very dehydrated. And from my last trip to Morocco, I had huge headaches, and I think actually it was dehydration. So I hope that will actually cover the trick. And then of course the filming equipment. A power bank, because it will be, I expect, 5 days without any current. And then for the shoes, I have these ones here. It's a bit of a gamble, but I think they'll do it. I tried them out in the snow. It's a pair of Speedcross Salomon shoes. and they were actually very efficient when I was trekking in a lot of snow here in the winter in Denmark. So I hope that's enough at the top of the mountain. And they expect that the very top will be somewhere between -5 to -13 degrees. So we'll get chilly. Around 9 a.m. we got picked up in Moshi at the YMCA hostel, and we drove about an hour to get to the national park of Kilimanjaro. So an easy 1 hour drive.
We're in Kilimanjaro base, and we're going to Madara Hut, which is 8 kilometers from here. It will take 3 to 5 hours approximately.
So the elevation is 1800 meters. And we have to climb a kilometer more, so we are spending the night at 2700 meters. The first day was a trek through the Montana rainforest, and the rainforest, I believe, is created because the clouds they come down, and with the moisture that condensates, it's grabbed by the trees, and hence the rainforest is created. Say hi. Yeah, bare say hi. Our lunch package. Choma nyama. Nyama choma. Banana. Burger. Muffin. Mango juice is the best. Just arrived to Mandara Hut, about 6.5 kilometers trek, and we did it just about 3 hours. Not that bad, but a good workout, isn't it, Mette?
Yeah.
Are you tired?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, James? How do you feel? Sharp?
Yeah,
Oh, good, good.
Good.
Our campsite for the first night.
Campsite!
Pure luxus.
Pure luxus var bare dansk.
Pure luxus. Dinner was served in the common huts that were available, sort of a dining hall. We got some beef stew the very first day and some cucumber soup with a lot of coriander in it. Quite tasty for the first day. The first night at Mandara Hut, we experienced easily 5 degrees in the night. So you better be prepared. Everybody slept all packed in. And around 4 o'clock in the morning, there were monkeys waking us up already. After half an hour trekking, we are reaching the outskirts of the Montana forest, the rainforest as it's known. Big mountain! So compared to last year's Morocco trip, just want to show you how easy it is to walk here. Morocco, it's just up. This is nice and smooth forward.
Hello. We are out of Montana forest. We are 1 hour. So 1 hour. We are 3,000 meters above sea level. We had our first break, 5 minutes, and everything is fine.
Jumbo, 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 hello, Jumbo, 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 Jumbo. Lunch spot after 2.5 hours and at a height of, what was it? 3,441 meters. We've reached this place here. This is where we'll have our lunch. Then I suppose we're halfway. We're going that way. Kæft med overskud, mand! So we just started spotting the antenna far away, and it's missing about 200 meters in altitude. Right now we are at 3,500 after, what did I say?
4 hours.
Yeah, almost 4 hours walking.
With 3 breaks.
A bunch of nice sweet breaks. And there are actually toilets on the way. 4 hours and 30 minutes. With about 4 breaks of 15 minutes. We finally start arriving at the camp. The height here is 4,700 meters. Sorry, 3,700 meters. And it's quite windy, as you can see. So I bet it will get very cold tonight.
What's that?
Horombo Hut. 52. That is 4 hours. Oh, Jesus. 4 hours. And yeah, and 42 minutes. It's very good.
What is that?
How many kilometers is this from the Mandara Hut? Yeah,
Can you tell it?
11 kilometers. So we are off for a little trek for 1 hour to Zebra's Rock just for some acclimatization. We're gonna say.
All is good.
Zebra Rock, 1 hour, 15 minutes walk. Dinner time. What time is it? About 6 hours. We've been walking in total. I just checked the GPS for 9 hours and rounded about 21 kilometers. Mete, what do you have to say?
I'm very hungry.
Gappa, are you suffering?
No, you're dying.
Are you dying? Bird's eye view of the food. So after a night here at Horombo station, it went quite well. It started with a strong headache and I was about to vomit. It's simply height sickness, you lose appetite. It's 3,700 meters height, and you can clearly feel the effects of the height sickness. We went for a small acclimatization walk up to the Zebra Rock. That helped actually, because after that it was an extreme headache I had. But drink a lot of water, and even though you lose appetite, just eat. But as I ate, even though I didn't have appetite, I was very, very close to vomiting. But I forced it down, and well, it actually pays off today. I spoke with some people who tried it, their luck with it yesterday at summiting the mountain. But already here from Horombo station and up to the Kibo huts, they didn't eat either dinner or breakfast, and that simply destroys your chances of making it to the summit. So even though you don't feel any lust or any will to eat, you just have to do it. You have to force it down no matter what. And if not, at least drink a lot of water. This is the part where we start trekking in the alpine desert, and it's actually very, very warm that day. But don't be fooled, it gets extremely cold at night. So we're catching the first real view of the challenge ahead. And we're going to be ascending somewhere between, if you count the 4 snow ridges to your right, somewhere between the middle we'll be going up. But it's actually very warm, even though it started very cold in the morning. There were -degrees outside, and as the sun comes out, you just want to walk in t-shirt and shorts. Since leaving Horombo Hut, now we're at 4,000 meters, and it has taken 1 hour. So there's this thing called pole pole. It means to go slowly, slowly. I'm doing my best, so I decided that each pace I take is about 1 foot distance between the feet. But I should even be slower actually. But so far it feels very good. I mean, compared to getting headaches and stuff like that, it actually works very well. So just take it very slow. But I'll do that even further on, even slower. .360 view of the alpine desert. This is about 3 hours hiking up by now. just reaching the curve. And it has been a long, hard struggle. Just very dry and very isolated. Far away you can see where we came from. And it's just been really boring to walk here. But the only thing that follows is this. So 4 hours into our hike, that's when we start seeing Kibo Hut.
4 hours?
Yeah, 4 hours from Morondo. Yeah.
From Morombo to Kibo.
Yeah, no, here where we are now. And we are at 4,413.
Yeah, so another.
In case you're wondering what happens if you get height sickness, and it's very, very severe. And they have these trolleys, and they can run you down all the way down to the Horombo post, and then their car can come there and pick you up. This is Kibo Hut. Took 1 hour more or less since the point where we had a break. And that was at 4,500 and now 4,720. Was really tough. It was 20 centimeters every single step I took. It seems like nothing, but there's absolutely no air up here. Tough. We are suffering right now. This is barely my first soup, and it's just small sips all the time. Everything goes really slow. Like this. That's slow. But you just have to force it in and don't throw up.
And then you have a massive headache.
Headache is all over the place. The only thing that keeps us going is pain is temporary, but glory is forever. Let's see if that counts tomorrow. At Kibo Hut we had dinner around 5 o'clock. We went to bed and woke up at 11 to then start to summit by midnight. This here is the Hans Meyer cave. After 3 hours walking, we finally arrive. This is halfway, or what? Yeah? More or less halfway. Not even. We are at 5,200 meters. And Mette, she backed out at 5,000. She was very tired. She didn't get any sleep. By sunrise, I managed to measure minus 20 degrees, so my water bottle was basically freezing. I got very cold water. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning at Gilman's Point, 5,700 meters. By now I had vomited twice and I had been sleepwalking. Six hours, 13 minutes, and we finally reach Gilman's Point. Then there's about an hour more, and then we reach Hurure, the top of the mountain. And you can see the sun is starting to rise. But honestly, I was walking half asleep sometimes. And it's cold, like minus 20. The point I'm pointing at is Kibo Huts, and it's about 5 kilometers from Kibo Huts to Hururu Peak, and it takes up to 8 hours to reach the summit. So we're just about half an hour from the summit. Have to start wearing sunglasses because the sun is very strong. We can enjoy a magnificent view from here.
Yeah.
And I'm so tired and such a headache, you have no idea. picture of
Hello.
hard work
Yes.
paid off.
You're the hero. Bakuba. Boom boom.
I am so freaking tired. Sometimes seeing double, sometimes walking asleep. But I think this guy, he expresses the feeling very well. I vomited twice on the trip, and I was sleepwalking once in a while. It was crazy, but it's worth the wait and the struggle. On top of that, it took 8 hours to get up here, exactly. Just so you happen to know, without really eating or drinking anything. My knees are shaking from that. Like that. So I'm going to run you through a list of 5 points, and it's basically a review of climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. Number 1, acclimatization. Vomiting and headache are basically a guaranteed factor for this trip. And the headaches I have not been able to avoid. The only time I felt that I was alleviated was when I had a good night's sleep, but that was something that was more than 4 hours of continuous sleep. Then my headache disappeared for that day. But else I had continuous headaches the whole trip. Vomiting, well, that's quite ironical because according to my guide, the more you vomit, the better you are at acclimatizing and adapting to the height. So therefore, when you eat, you might feel the nausea and want to vomit, but that's actually in a way a good thing and a bad thing. But after you have vomited, make sure you eat again and drink a lot of water, because you're just losing out on important nutrition and, well, hydration as well. So no matter what, just keep pushing and keep forcing yourself to eat. Number 2, drink, drink and drink. I was carrying on me 3-liter water containers, and that basically meant that I all the time had the ability to drink some water. One of the days I actually drank 7 liters of water. That's what I managed to measure across that day. And the worst thing you can actually do is not drink enough. If you get dehydrated, well, your success chances at summiting the mountain will simply just fall. So number 3, physical shape. The physical shape I was in was simply just composed of playing soccer, football, once or twice a week, as well as doing some workout. That was the only thing I was doing, getting ready for this mountain. And as such, physically I felt that it was completely fine. What really dealt a blow was the headache and the nausea that you get from the height. But else, physically, that should cover it. Number 4, I guess this will be a little bit controversial, but the route we took is called the Coca-Cola route because it's supposed to be easy, known as the Marango route. And actually what makes it very, very difficult is the fact that you have only 5 days to get up and down, and you have a lot of kilometers to cover. It's about 35 kilometers more or less from the gate of the national park in Kilimanjaro all the way up to the summit. And this you need to cover in 2.5 days. And on top of that, well, you eat and you sleep, but it's not the same, so you're not able to restituate as quickly as you were expecting, and therefore you're continuously just losing out on sleep and energy, and this will of course make it more difficult for you. Honestly, I think I slept, put together for 2.5 days, I probably slept somewhere between 9 and 12 hours, where I actually slept and had a deep sleep. Else it was simply just closing the eyes and resting most of the time. And that is really, really difficult, that part. Point number 5, last but not least, is pole pole. Take it easy, just walk slowly, because that would ensure your success ratio it will increase basically, as the slower you walk up that mountain, the less a chance, the lower the risk actually there is of getting altitude sickness, and therefore less headache, and you'll be less tired and so on. So for the next time, if I was to do something like that, I would at least walk much slower than what I did this time. As such, there's no record to beat, there's nothing to hurry for, so just take your time, enjoy the trip, and don't push it too hard, but just make sure you summit.